where my success genuinely comes from in networking is no matter where I go, no matter who I meet, I treat everyone as if they're somebody.
Hey guys, it's Matt Haycox and I have got with me a very sporty looking Georgia Harrison. She's fresh from Newcastle, fresh from the success of a Fame MMA fight, which I'm sure we're going to talk about soon. But if you don't know that, you've probably seen her on Towie, on Love Island, on The Challenge, and just recently released the Celeb X on the Beach. So you've had plenty of chances to see her, but if not, you can see her here with me now. If a lot of the people that I've known from your kind of world were given 4 maths questions to do before they were allowed to turn their alarm clock off, they'd still be fucking sleeping. So Georgia, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for finally turning up. Georgia was actually supposed to be here. She was supposed to be here 4 weeks ago, I think 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I saw her on Instagram getting on a plane to Thailand. And I says, don't forget, we're shooting in 10 days. Because I thought no one ever goes to Thailand for a short amount of time. And she says, no, don't worry, I've got it in my diary. And on the fucking day she was supposed to come, she ends up staying for what, another 3 weeks on top?
But listen, I was at a training camp,
Now's your
right?
chance to apologise. Go on, explain.
I was at a training camp about to do some celebrity deathmatch MMA fight. And like out there, we were training, I'm talking 5 to 6 hours a day. And it's like, it was easy to do because of where I was. And as it was nearing the end, not only was the trip free, but I just thought, I cannot get beaten up in front of like 4,000 people. I need to stay here.
Did you, and this isn't me digging for an apology, this is a genuine question. Did you really only intend to go for a short amount of time?
Yeah, I had it booked, I had my flight booked back. And I am sorry, but I realised that the training programme was just absolutely phenomenal.
It makes complete sense. That's why I asked that. You know, if I was doing it, I would have.
I didn't realise how good the training was going to be, and to be honest, how much I was going to enjoy it. I was so happy, but I cancelled a lot. My agent was like having a breakdown. He was like, "I hate you." Like,
I was supposed to do. I was supposed to do a white collar boxing match actually about 6 years ago.
Really?
And it was the same thing where I've boxed, just purely for fun, like, as in on and off. I've gone to like boxing gyms and stuff for 15 years, but my general fitness is terrible because I just eat too much shit and never put any effort in. But when I was doing this, I thought there's no way I can get embarrassed in front of so many people. So I actually took a full-time personal trainer on, moved him in with me, and he lived with me for 6 months. Did all my shopping, all my cooking. We did Pilates every day. We did a run every day. We did weights, not weights, like kettlebells and that kind of stuff. And I put him on a massage course so he could massage me as well. Did all this for 6 months. And then the fight ended up not happening.
What, did they cancel it?
You know what? I actually can't. I didn't pull out of it, but there was some issue around it, and the whole thing never happened. But I did get in the best shape I'd ever been in. I mean,
that's why when people say like life isn't about the journey. No, life isn't about the destination. It's about the journey. And whether I won or lost the other night, I 100% would have been so grateful for the experience because not only did I get in great shape, but I met so many people. Like I just had the most amazing time. And it is good to get healthy, isn't it? Like I was training so much that I could eat like a horse.
But you're sporty in general anyway. Yeah. And I mean, have you always trained? Have you always done like a good exercise regime as part of your daily life?
I done the marathon last year.
Oh, really?
And to be honest, I didn't get into fitness until I was about 19. I was actually really lazy. I was just like a shot girl. And then I started getting overweight.
A shot girl?
I was like a full-time shot girl. Like I used to just drink so much Sambuca and then go next door for a KFC on the way home. And one time my mum was just like, do you know, this is getting out of hand, like you need to start going to the gym. And eventually I really did get into it, and what I realised is I was much happier once I started training, and now if I fall out of my training regime, my mind just isn't the same.
I mean, it's almost so cliched to say, but I mean, I always like to say it to people, I like to think it probably holds weight when I tell them, because I'm your most non-typical exercise kind of person. Like people know me, they know how much crap I eat or how on and off I can be with exercise, but I've really tried to put it more into my day-to-day life because it just impacts on everything. Like you say, your general happiness, your ability to perform at work, just how
even
you
your energy. When I train, sometimes people think, oh, she must be so tired from doing all that. No, like if I don't train, I feel muggy, tired all the time. If I get up in the morning and I just go for a run, my day's set.
What does muggy mean?
Muggy,
because, I tell you why I asked, because someone from your neck of the woods texted me last night and said I was something I'd done with muggy. I thought, what the fuck does that even mean?
Well, there's different variations of muggy. I was just using it in the way like a bit smoggy, but muggy just means like you've took the piss.
Right.
Bit muggy, like what a mug, do you know what I mean? So if you're being muggy, it might be like if you were like, I don't know, all nice trousers, I'd be like, that's muggy. What are you trying to say?
Oh, right, okay.
If you were mugging them off.
All right.
But they are nice trousers, so you probably wouldn't do that. Yeah.
I'm with you. What was I've lost my train of thought. I can reply to this. I can reply to this message now. I'd sent some comment about needing a fucking translator, but I think I was in enough trouble. I was in enough trouble anyway. What we're talking about exercise. Yeah, I mean, like every day now, even if I can't get to the gym, I always say I go for a run, but the reality is I call it a run walk. But I like to go out most nights or mornings. I probably go for an hour and a half.
That's a lot.
I put, I'll probably run. I work in terms of songs, so I like run for 3 songs, walk for a couple of songs. But even if it's just, even if I really can't be arsed running, I just go out in the fresh air, keep my legs moving, listen to a podcast. And I tell you, it's such a good thinking time for me as well. I obviously got my phone with me, and I come back and my iNotes, I've got 10, 15, 20 notes, every time I've had a run. It's just much better to think, much better thinking time. I either sit in that pink chair, that's my pink thinking chair.
I like that chair.
or I go and do it on a walk.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in the fight?
Oh, so I was in the gym and one of my friends that's an agent rang me up, not actually my agent, and he said, listen, I don't know if you've seen like Bear and Scotty T doing this like MMA fight thing. Would you want to do it? And I was like, no. And then he was like, told me how much money he'd give me, and I won't say how much it was, but it was a lot. And I was like, sign me up. Do you know what I mean? I thought I'd do anything for that. So they was basically saying they needed a girl that would be game to do it. They knew it would be hard to find, but they thought that I would be. Had you done any boxing, MMA type stuff before, or just normal gym? Oh, me, Bear, Theo and Kaz went to a boxing gym the year before to do Muay Thai in Thailand, but to be honest, we were so drunk every night, I don't know if it counts, I don't even remember the training. So I'd never had a fight before. I'd done minimal training, but I didn't really have any experience. But seeing as I do the challenge, and I'm hoping to continue to do that in the future, I thought if I can achieve this, if I can go in there, have the balls to fight someone in front of all them people and hopefully win, not only will it make a good impression on other challengers, like it will show them that I'm brave, but it will show me that I'm brave and that I can do anything.
So how long did you have to train?
We had 8 weeks.
Oh, so you only signed up for 8 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the same for everybody? I mean, did the headliners have longer time?
I'm not sure. I think the boys might have known slightly longer just because the girls were added on last minute. But I reckon they'd only have had another couple of weeks, if that. For most people, it was their first fight. I think for a couple of them, they'd done it before.
And how far out of your comfort zone was it actually taking you? Like huge?
Oh, it's the craziest thing I've ever had to do, like the most out of my comfort zone I've ever been. Even in the training when you've got to spar girls and stuff like that, like I'd be fighting girls that have been doing it for 2 years, and I'd spend days losing, and it gets really tricky when you have to keep turning up to something and keep losing. But I kept watching, motivational videos, listening to podcasts, and a lot of them would say you can never win anything without a failure. Every great person who's ever succeeded at everything has almost guaranteed to have a lot of failures. So,
well, it's not failure, it's feedback.
Yeah, you either win or you learn. That's my new saying. And every time I lost at sparring, I wasn't losing, I was learning. And it took a lot to walk back into the gym after having thrown my head guard off and cried in front of everyone a couple of times. But I still got up every day and I went back in and it paid off.
Do you think you'll still carry on that training now? I mean, were you excited to finish, or were you actually looking forward to getting back in the gym? Was it back to shots and KFC for a bit?
Oh, do you know what I mean? I'm excited to finish, but I'm ready to settle down in my life, to be honest. And when you're training like this for something like this, it took over everything. If I wasn't training, I was watching YouTube videos of other people fighting, or I even downloaded an MMA game. I would sit there and I'd beat people up virtually, because if I have a goal like that, I get obsessed with it. So the owner sort of looked at me as I was walking out and went, "See you at the next fight," and I thought, "Oh mate, we're going to have to at least double the budget, I'm telling you."
Is that the first time they've ever done one of these? Or
it's the first ever UK one, but it was a big success, and I feel like they will do another one. If the offer was right, I think I'd have to consider doing it again, but it took a lot.
Were you nervous in front of the crowd there as well, or were you just in the zone with the fight?
I was nervous, especially knowing a lot of my friends were there, a lot of people I knew were there, but once you get in there, all you can see is her, and everything just all you can see is her and your corner, but I could hear my friends, they are loud. Really loud. I think the judges actually told them off at one point.
I heard them all on Instagram.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. Yeah.
And talk to me about your mental preparation over your physical preparation. You know, I mean, did you have any mentors, any people you'd work with on a mental perspective to try and?
Yeah, I mean, I actually worked with a couple of like life coaches, one called Antonia, so she does sort of Reiki healing and sort of thing like that, and she would try and make sure I'm all balanced and my chakras are balanced, because I do believe in all of that sort of thing. But for me, mentally, I had to push myself. I've got like a lot of rituals I do, but I step them up for the fight. So I got a new alarm clock, which meant it went off at 6:30, and the only way to turn it off was to do 4 maths questions. So yeah, and I thought it was brilliant, because you think,
I'd just be thrown out the fucking window.
That's what I mean. You think, I'm just going to turn it off. I'm going to do them and I'm going to turn it off. But by the time you've done them, you think, I'm just going to get up. I would write my gratitudes every day. I would write my goals, and I'm always one to meditate or do yoga. I think in life it's essential to have some sort of spiritual practice.
Have these always been a part of you though, or is it just more from the fight or over the last few years of starting to train?
Over the last few years, it's always been a part of me, but during certain times in my life, I'll step it up or I won't. So especially if I'm filming for a TV show, I find meditation absolutely essential, because you're living with so many people, there's so many energies around, and I'm an empath. I pick up a lot of other people's energy, so sometimes I just need to go away for 10 minutes and just close my eyes and just quieten everything out and just remember like the bigger picture, because sometimes when you are on these shows, you're in a bubble, you're not in the real world.
It's really interesting to hear about all this, though, and I was genuinely excited, for today's podcast, because obviously we didn't know each other before. And again, being honest, I didn't know you, prior to knowing you were coming, because I don't really watch the telly and stuff. But obviously, I've followed you over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, and I don't really follow many people on Instagram because I guess they just block up my feed with shit I'm not remotely interested in. But what I liked about you was, and I guess yes, it's stereotyping people to say it, but for someone who's from a Towie or from a reality type TV shows, etc. You just expect. And obviously I've met plenty as well. Everyone's fucking numbnuts, and and they've got no value to add, and they're certainly not into personal development, into meditation, into all these things. I mean, I think if a lot of the people that I'd known from your kind of world were given 4 maths questions to do before they were allowed to turn their alarm clock off,
they'd be in trouble.
They'd still be fucking sleeping. but yeah, no. So it's interesting to talk and to hear about it.
Yeah, I genuinely do want to use my platform to change the world and help with personal development, because there was a time in my life where I didn't understand like how spiritual practices, how the law of attraction, how just doing certain daily things can get you success. And I genuinely believe that anyone in the world can be successful if they just live a certain way and have a certain mindset. And like some of my followers, sometimes they'll send me messages where they're in like a really bad place, and if I really feel like they need my help, I send them the book called The Magic, and I'll put a personalised note in it, and I'll just say, listen, I believe in you, like believe in yourself. And I'm doing my best one by one to try and change the way people think, and I feel like I'm actually starting to have an impact.
And what got you into it? So I'm going to give you a book before you leave. Actually,
I love a new book. Yeah. I love a new book.
You can read it on the train on the way back to London.
My best friend bought me The Secret when I was 17. So before that, I was always quite negative. I used to feel like the world was against me. I had quite a few unlucky things happen, and I feel like that was just a result of my mindset. I didn't understand that with positive thinking, self-belief, visualization, you really can attract an abundance of wealth, happiness, love, and success. And I believe anyone can do that.
Final question on the fight, then we'll move on to some other stuff. Did you ever think about pulling out?
Of the fight? Oh yeah, when I first signed up, like there was never a time where I said I'll definitely pull out, but my mum was like, listen, if we really think that you can't do it, we'll get down the doctors, we'll claim up whiplash, don't worry, we'll get you right out of that one. And I was like, all right, mum, we'll keep that on the back burner.
When did you get paid then? Did you not get paid until it had finished?
You don't get paid until it's finished, no. And I didn't want to be seen as backing out. A couple of the fighters did back out.
I think that's the thing. Well, that's more important than the money at that point.
Yeah.
It's bad enough in front of your 50 friends in your local town, but to do it in front of your friends and your 900,000 Instagram followers, I think there's even if you stood in there and took an absolute fucking pounding, you've got to do it.
I'd rather lose than quit. And the thing is, like, some fighters did pull out, and I think it's not fair. I think it's not fair on the other fighter, because they've spent money on their training, like they've put a lot into it. So for you to say that you're going to fight them and then back out a couple of weeks before, it's just not right. And yeah, it's like, wouldn't you rather just get beaten up for 9 minutes, take the huge amount of money and just go home than not turn up at all?
100%. So going off, well, I say going off on a different track, but it's something you actually said about the fight. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was experiences and bonding experiences. And that's something you mentioned about the fight, that, you know, the people you met and the things. And I was just telling you before we're off camera about the TV show I'd done the other week, which I'm actually can't talk about. You know, this will go out before then, so I can't say what it is. But what I've always been very much into, let's say, experiences over length of time for friendships and stuff. So, you know, if I look at my friendship circle, or, you know, whether that's friends or work friends, there's people in there who have been mates with for 25, 30 years. But then, you know, there's people who I've been mates with for 9 months, 6 months, who I would say that my friendship is as deep with them, if not the people I've known for 30 years. And it's always been down to the level and the quality of the experiences and stuff that we've shared. And I look at the experience I had with the TV thing the other week, where, you know, we had a 3 or 4 person film crew with us all the time, and I know that we will have a relationship, you know, 10, 15 years into the future, and then, you know, some of the other people on the show who, even though we spent absolute minimal amounts of time, like, you know, like less than an hour, again, I already feel like such a level of bond with them that, again, I know I'll be 10, 15, 20 years down the line. Yeah, I'd hope to think we're still friends. And I was actually thinking about it to myself, knowing that I'd be meeting you a couple of days later. I'm interested to understand how that works on other, you know, when you do other TV shows with other people, you know, when you're all thrown into that environment, is it like real life changing bonding experiences where, like, you know, you go into Love Island for a week, but during that week it's so it's so strong that, you know, that you'll always have a relationship with those people?
Yeah, I mean, you go through something that some people will never get to do. You know, hundreds of thousands of people apply to go on Love Island, and only about 30 of them get to go in there. And I've took friendships from that I'll have for life. Like, some of my girls, you know, Montana, Liv, they was there for me, supporting me at the show. Theo will be like my best friend for years, and that's because we've done the challenge together and Love Island. And I think one of the most amazing things to come out of the career I do is the people that I meet, because I've got friends that, like you said, I might have only met in the last couple of years, but will be my friends for life, that are inspiring, that I learn so much for. And I think a part of that is because the people that I meet are hand-picked because of their personalities. You know, some of them, you got the odd villain, but most of them are picked because they're entertaining, they're funny, they're courageous. Yeah, hasn't he?
The muggy villain.
The muggy villain. Yeah, they're entertaining, and it's like, I'm lucky enough to work in an industry where people are just phenomenal characters, like really phenomenal people. And
the reason I was mentioning this, you know, from a business perspective, there is a parallel for me, and that one of the things I'm always talking about to people with networking and developing your business relationships is to try and find unusual experiences, or to think out the box with how you can put on experiences to bond with your prospects, with your customers, etc. Because again, you know, going to lunch or you know, having a couple of drinks in the pub, yes, okay, it's better than not building relationships with these people at all. But
it's not memorable.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, I've been on runs with people, or been to the boxing gym or whatever, and I always say that, you know, that 1 hour I've spent in the boxing gym, it might be the most, you know, bizarre or unusual thing you would expect to do with, you know, with a work prospect or a potential customer. But, you know, I mean, I do a lot of holidays where I take people on, you know, on ski trips, on beach trips, on experiences. But, you know, I guarantee that the level of relationship we have after the, you know, that 1 hour in a boxing, you know, in a boxing training session, or you know, 4 or 5 days on a holiday, and I know that everyone's got their own budgets that, you know, that they can afford to do, you know, to do with their potential prospects. But if there's any possible way to think of different ways to create different or you know, different bonding experiences, then it will absolutely, you know, materially impact on your relationships and then, you know, the ultimate business that can be done with these people.
Yeah, obviously, naturally, you're going to remember things more, and I do think that the main thing with networking, and I'll always say this is what my success comes down to, because you have to remember, I went on Love Island for what, 2 weeks, something like that. I got a lot of followers off it, like 800,000, but, you know, there's plenty of people that have been on Love Island now. There's plenty of celebrities, and a lot of them do just they do disappear, they do get forgotten. And where my success genuinely comes from in networking is no matter where I go, no matter who I meet, I treat everyone as if there's somebody. Like, I will take time to sit there and talk to the cleaners, and I'll take time to talk to the execs. I've got time to talk to absolutely anyone when I'm at an event, and I've had so many opportunities snowball from conversations I've had with people who I didn't know could benefit me. Do you know what I mean? But somehow 100%. They did. And there's some people that go to events or you know, they're chasing their business potentials, but they only want to look out for the people they think can help them. But what you don't realise is that isn't how you should act in life. You need to treat everyone with respect, everyone the same, because one day today's runner is going to be an exec in 10 years and you're going to have to be sitting in front of them.
100%. And also I think, you know, what people misunderstand with networking or relationship developing is that you've got to give long before you can think about receiving.
They call that emotional banking, is it? Emotional intelligence. So you give to someone and they give back.
Right, I've heard that. Well,
yeah.
You can give me that book. We'll do book swaps. But I mean, I actually thought about it again this morning because I got a text message from somebody where I'd introduced them to somebody who's potentially going to invest in the business. You know, certainly help them, and they just sent me a message saying that it's been a fantastic introduction. Thanks so much. And you know, I'll always look at those situations, and if I know I can put two people together for their mutual benefit or whatever, I just get on with it. And I want nothing from it. You know. Yeah. I would like to think at some point in the future, if I knock on your door, you might be able to help me out. But yeah, 99% of the people look at those situations and want to know what their cut of the deal is, you know, before the introductions even be made.
But I believe in the law of attraction and the universe, and I think if you help people and you give without wanting anything, I know this sounds silly, but I believe in a karmic way, you'll get it back in a different way. So if I gave you something today, like to help you, I believe in another way the universe will reward me for that, even if it isn't through you.
I'm completely with you. I mean, I'm not spiritual. I'm not a spiritual person. So I guess I look at it with a different, you know, a different perspective and look at it as I guess, you know, whether it's serendipitous or whatever word you want to use with it. I'm on exactly the same page. That, you know, if you do enough good things for other people and you know, you put yourself out there enough, then things naturally have to come back in your direction. Now, you mentioned something a minute ago actually that I was going to talk about. It's almost like you've been reading my notes about how you always talk to everyone from the top people, you know, down to the cleaners and the runners, and how you know, so many people disappear, you know, in a very short space of time after they've come off a Love Island or whatever it may be. And I wanted to talk about that, not in the context of I guess, you know, being nice to everybody, but one of my biggest criticisms, and I think this is what I like about you where I see you being different, but one of my biggest criticisms of all the people who come out of, let's say, a reality TV show, whenever I have this conversation, I always you know, use Love Island as an example, but not you know, not for any bad reason, but let's call it Steve from Love Island. And you know, they come out with an unbelievable platform. I mean, you know, the best thing that anyone in life or business could ask for. But then, you know, so many of these people, 12 months, 18 months down the line, have disappeared into oblivion. And for me, one of the main reasons is because they have no purpose, no passion, no personality. You know, there's no actual reason for them even to be on Instagram. I mean, if you look at their followings. And let's say you've come out of Love Island and you're Sarah from Love Island. And
why should you continue to watch Sarah?
Well, exactly, which you do initially because she's Sarah and you liked her from the show and she's hot. But in 12 months' time, when Sarah's done nothing other than advertised tooth whitening kits and you know, done some boohoo promotions, then what is she? She's just someone who's a bit less hot and 1 year older than the next person who's come out this year. And I think, you know, so many of these people, A, they don't get it, but then also B, they don't even particularly realise it, because you never actually probably realise your audience is gone until it's too late, because you are, for 365 days, you are still Sarah from Love Island. And then on day 366, you know, overnight, all the new Love Island people come out there. You know, all of a sudden you've immediately lost interest with your audience. You've immediately lost interest with the brands. And okay, yes, fine. I'm sure you'll still be working to a degree in year 2 or year 3. But for me, it's such a missed opportunity that you know, these people need to. You know, it might not be glamorous or sexy or whatever the passion is. But I mean, an example I always think of is, do you remember from the first Big Brother? You're probably too young.
No, I'm like, no.
She's showing my age. Well, in the first Big Brother, the winner was a guy called Craig something or other, and he was. Do you know him? Oh, fucking hell, you're even younger than her. He was a carpenter or a builder or something, but that was like his job and his passion, if you like, in his life before. And coming out of Big Brother obviously gave him a platform and an audience. And now 15 years or whatever, 15, 20 years down the line, he still has a TV show about property development and still works in that space. He took his passion and he used that. Yeah. And you know what? It might not be as, like I say, as glamorous to do that as doing a boohoo fashion shoot every day. But the longevity of that money, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, is going to completely outstrip, smashing it with some inauthentic posts about tooth whitening kits and slimming products, for a year.
I think everything in life just comes down to hard work, and a lot of people look at us and they think, oh, they're celebrities, they get paid for nothing. Do you know what I mean? But I knew when I came out of Love Island I had a platform, and I worked my arse off to keep the platform up, to keep my connections. I go to events, I do what I could to get the best content for my Instagram. I was always striving to continue with my career, and I always believed in it. I think some people just come off and think you can sort of sit back, like you said, put on the odd post and just hope things will work. But, with every successful career, there's hard work. And I'm literally, I couldn't tell you, non-stop working. And I'll work for free on certain things all the time if I think that there's a chance that an opportunity could snowball for me. And what I find with some of my friends in the industry is they're like, oh, I'm not doing that, or I'm better than that, or I'd rather just stay at home. And I'm like, no, I'll go to everything, because 9 out of 10 of them, something might not come out of it, but one of them will.
I mean, it's so interesting that you've said that, because again, this is something I always talk about with my mates and my peers, and that they'll ask me what I'm up to, well, they say, what are you getting paid for that, or how much did you make out of that? And a lot of the time I'm saying, oh, nothing, or I might have even paid to do it. And they look at me like I'm an idiot, like, why would you possibly do that for free? And my slant, if you like, on what you're saying is 80% of what I do for free. Yeah. But 20% I get fucking well paid for. Yeah. And that's, and that makes it all up. But without doing these bits, there isn't going to be this bit. Yeah. Yeah. I've got an agenda, and you always say these good things and take me off my track. No, so actually, so you talked about building your platform and how you had a plan. What were you doing before Love Island and before Towie? I mean, have you always had a master plan? Have you always had you've been business minded? No, at first, as I said, I was a shot girl, literally, and being a shot girl is degrading. I didn't know if you meant you were selling shots, or you were just shooting shots and going to KFC. Both, one for me, one for you. Drinking the profits. Yeah, I was a shot girl. In London, sometimes you make good money. I do it in IB from Marbella as well, but as much as sometimes it was good, people would talk down to me a lot, and I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. Eventually, I managed to get myself into office work, blagged it, absolutely lied on my CV, managed to get my foot in the door at like some, as admin in some media firm, picked up the job like within 2 days, and then I was working in the city. Eventually I worked for a company called JDX, I was a PA there, and do you know what, they were just lovely. It wasn't my career, I knew it wasn't what I was meant to do, 9 to 5, not for me, but they supported me so much, and when they found out I was going on Love Island, they were just, some offices would be like, oh, you can't do that. They couldn't wait. They were so happy for me, and yeah. So you were still in the office when you were on Towie as well, then, were you? No, so I left Towie, went back to the office. Okay. I was doing my office work for about 2 years, and then the company that I worked for actually are the ones that invested in my gymwear brand in the end. Okay. So yeah, we're still in business together now, and we'll have a good relationship for a long time. Why did you go on Love Island initially? What was it? Did you have a master plan? Was it for the platform, or did you just fancy a couple of weeks in the sun? So my old agent Neil, me and him, he was Diags' agent at the time, and me and Diags were quite close. And me and Neil had a relationship, and he was like, "Listen, I've been speaking to people at Love Island. I know that you'd be really good for it."
And I had a boyfriend at the time, and he was like, come on, like, please just fill out the form. And I'm like, oh, I'm really happy, like, I'm not going to go on it. Like, I wouldn't do that. He went, I know your boyfriend. He's like, he's got a name for himself. Like, just fill out he's a dickhead, basically. Honestly, he's a dickhead. But I loved him so much. And he said, just fill out the application form, see what happens.
There's Neil killing loves young dream just to get his 20%, yeah?
So, yeah, just to get his interviews like this, get rid of him. But so I filled out the form and I got the interview and I said to him, I'm not doing the interview. And then about a week before...
Did the boyfriend know?
No, I didn't mention it because I wasn't actually going to do it. I was saying to Neil, listen, I'm still with him, I'm happy. My boyfriend said he needed to speak to me about something, and he came round and he told me that he'd slept with another girl. No, slept with another girl a few months ago, and she was pregnant and having his baby. So me and him couldn't obviously make it work through that. And I went on to Love Island, and at the time I was devastated because he was the love of my life at the time. But it led me to where I am now. And I think that sometimes you've got to realise in life that sometimes God, you know, things happen and they might upset you, but you've sometimes got to look at things and think, I don't know why this is happening to me. Is it upsetting me? But maybe it's leading me in a different direction. You know, a lot of people, always in life, you're going to have times when you're down and things go wrong and you don't understand why the world would let that happen to you. But you have to just soldier on through it and have faith that God is just rerouting you, you know, and God rerouted me there.
Are you religious?
Yeah, well, sort of. I believe in omnism, which means I think there's truth in every religion, but no religion is fully true. Although I am Christian, but I still think, I just believe in the universe and a higher power.
So just going back to social media a minute before we finish off, just in terms of some like top actionable tips, if you like, for our audience here. I mean, what's your top tips on how to ensure longevity from your audience, from your platform?
Oh, I think just be yourself. Like, what I've realised is that there's a lot of girls don't put videos on where they're embarrassing themselves or stuff like that. They'll overanalyze a picture or there'll be like a horrible picture of them and they'll be like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to see that. And it's like, no, like we all look like, you know, crap sometimes. And I think the best way to engage with my audience is when I am just brutally honest. Like in my Insta stories, I'm always very much myself and I'm not scared to embarrass myself. And I think some influencers just take themselves too seriously and it's just boring. People want to see you, people want to see realness and they want to see funniness and they want to be able to relate to your flaws as well as your, you know, perfections.
Haters. Do you get many haters?
Yeah, I think everyone does.
I mean, everyone, but do you get many? I actually don't see you as someone that would get loads. I think because you don't take yourself seriously, because you've got banter, etc. I would imagine. I mean, like you say, everybody gets them, but I would imagine that you probably get a lesser percentage than.
I don't get a lot, but everyone gets some, you know, or there'll be stages in my life where something might air and it causes a ripple effect for a couple of days and stuff like that. But I always say if you got everyone I knew in a room and got them to do a survey on me, 99% of people would have brilliant things to say about me. So why would I ever listen to someone who doesn't know about me and even take their comment seriously because they're a troll? If I don't like someone about someone, imagine me just saying it to them. It's weird.
Well, that's what I think. I mean, again, when I talk to people about it, and again, as I've started to do more of these things, you know, I start to get some negative comments and stuff. And I've never been someone who gives a fuck anyway. But,
yeah.
But I always just think, how can you possibly have the time? To, you know, like, is your life so shit that you actually want to look through my stuff and find bad stuff to say about it? You don't even fucking know me. I mean, it'd be weird. I mean, that's the only thing. And I know it's almost like a lot of the time when I try and give advice to people, I almost feel like I'm shortchanging them with the answer because it sounds too simple. But I mean, for me, it really is that simple. Like, how can you give a fuck about someone whose hobby, who the highlight of their day is to start looking through somebody else's Instagram account or YouTube channel and saying that you're fucking fat or you're stuttering through an interview or whatever the fuck it may be. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. There's always going to be someone who tries to bring you down, but you know what? Then people you've just got to look at them and just feel sorry for them because they're so unhappy in themselves.
And yeah, YouTube. Do you do anything on YouTube?
No, but I want to. I want to do videos on helping with dealing with anxiety.
Okay.
And also I'd like to do videos on the law of attraction and you know, small ways to change your life. And I always say I'll do it, but I haven't yet, but I will because so many of my friends suffer massively from anxiety and I feel like I've helped quite a lot of them through ways of dealing with it. And I follow a lot of other YouTube people that give out ways of helping with anxiety, and I'd almost just be copying them, but it's not really copying them, it's just spreading it to a wider audience. Well, what's helped me?
Two things. I think, you know, when it comes to copying, and I get these kind of conversations in the business space all the time as well, where either people say, you know, he's copying that guy, or where you sometimes are conscious about putting content out because you think, well, that's a copy of that. My view is, you know, it's 2019. There are no fucking new ideas. I mean, there really aren't. You know, it's just down to how do you frame things and who do you resonate with.
Yeah, taking that same content, making it your own, and projecting it to a different audience.
Yeah, you know, and whether that's, I guess, people with business plans who say, oh, you know, well, I need to keep my idea super secret because, you know, because it's this amazing thing, when the reality is, again, there's very few new business ideas as well, you know, just new ways of delivering it. But yeah, when it comes to putting content out there, you know, whether it's business, whether it's anxiety, whether it's whatever, you know, so many of the content, so many of the solutions, you know, they're the same things that, never mind they've been around for 5 years or 10 years, they've been around for 5,000 fucking years. And it's just that, you know what, I'd rather see it from Georgia than from Steve or Claire or whatever.
And some people just aren't aware of these things and they haven't seen it. And if I put it out there, they might. So that's definitely something I'll be looking to do.
And I mentioned YouTube again from a business perspective as well, because I think one of the biggest missed opportunities for influencers at the moment is the fact that they're not putting enough resource, if you like, behind YouTube, because it's a slow burn, but for me, the massive difference between Instagram and YouTube is Instagram is there for 24 hours, 48 hours. You know, YouTube is there forever, and it snowballs day by day. And I think, you know, what people need to realise, and again, you know, I talk about these things from experience now, is that you've got to look at YouTube not as like a photo sharing platform, but as the second biggest search engine on the internet. And if you've got content that's interesting to put out there, okay, first of all, it was going to introduce you to a new audience, because people who don't know you will find you through the search abilities of YouTube. But you know, your Instagram profile, well, you've got all this huge follower base that you can actually use at the moment to transport them across from your Insta to your YouTube while it's still hot, because, you know, you can put videos up on YouTube that will still be generating views day after day. I mean, you know, from watching YouTube yourself,
I watch it a lot.
How many stuff do you watch on there that video is fucking 9 years ago, or, you know, 10 years ago. Whereas when you put content on Instagram,
it's gone.
I mean, it's gone. I mean, you know, whether it's 24 hours, whether it's 3 days, whether it's 5 days, you know, nobody is looking at your Instagram stuff, you know, unless someone's stalking you and going deep. But you know, no one's really looking at your Instagram stuff past last week, are they? You know, whereas YouTube is there forever. And yeah, if I could give one single piece of advice to influencers or to anyone with a big platform on Insta, Twitter, or Facebook, it's, you know, that you've got to put as much effort and resource behind YouTube now, because it takes a while to get there as well. Yeah, I mean, like, I look at what mine's doing after, say, 12 months, and that's me being an unknown person from an absolute standing start.
It's picking up momentum.
But if someone was there with 300,000, 500,000 followers to start a YouTube channel, you know, obviously their momentum would get bigger, you know, so much quicker, and it's there for the long term. So
one thing that's getting big now is TikTok.
Oh yeah,
TikTok. I'm loving TikTok. It's my new thing, honestly.
Before you go, let's make a TikTok. I actually signed up to TikTok. I ain't got a fucking clue what to do. And the guy that helps me with my YouTube stuff, he does all the technical bits, he emails me at least once a week saying, when are you and Harley going to do some TikTok stuff together?
But they're brilliant. I'm going to get my family doing them, everything.
Like, he said to Harley, we've got to do some TikTok together. And she's like, you're too old. It's just...
it's funnier when older people do it. I think it's funnier. It's good.
All right, we're doing a TikTok before you leave.
Yeah, we'll think of one.
So you mentioned, again, you're taking my notes, you mentioned your sportswear brand.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. How did that start? When did it start?
So it started off by my old boss saying, listen, we just want to invest in you. You know, we want to do something that will work both for us and for you. So gym wear was always the right thing to go down. It is very serious, and I've just loved every second of it. Like, the quality of my clothing is just something to be so proud of. Like, you know, sometimes you can order stuff online and it comes through. You're wearing any of it now? No, I'm not. I should have, but it's all sweaty. I've been wearing it for the last 2 days.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's just, it's the best quality, it really is, and it's at a good price. You know, like Lululemon, places like that, I can guarantee you it's just as good quality, but it falls more on the middle range of pricing, and it's starting to really pick up. We've just got it manufactured in Century 21 in America. Yeah. I've never personally been there, but I didn't realise I've got quite a big American fan base. So currently we're looking to manufacture it in some bigger stores, and we're doing really well with the retail, so.
And how do you sell it in the UK? Do you have any retail stores in the UK? Is it all online?
Mainly online, but we're hoping to get it into some more stores going forward, especially because we've got some great ideas with our season's designs coming up. So it would be easier if we could start manufacturing rather than just retailing.
And how involved are you personally in it? I mean, do you pick the designs? Or do you just kind of lend your name in the promotion, or do you really get stuck into all aspects?
No, I'm so involved. Like, I'm part director of the company, so I'll be there. I'll meet with the manufacturers. We do absolutely everything together. I then also deal with the promo side of things. The only thing I don't deal with is like the business side and stuff. You know, like meeting with the lawyers and that, because they bore me.
You know, I think I was looking at last night when I was prepping for this, and you know what I think you need to do from a marketing perspective. I think you should do, whether it's a YouTube channel or whether it's like IGTV or something. I think you should do daily or at least weekly educational workout tutorials wearing your gym kit.
I need to find the time, but I do know that that's what I need to do. And I've got a PT that I work with a lot, so I'm sure he can help me. Yeah,
because I look at. If you look at like the Instagram profile of brands, for me, I think it's always hard as a consumer to want to follow and engage with brands, because you know ultimately they are just brands, aren't they? And I guess you know, like looking at you, you know, you have you have a massive Insta profile. But then obviously a much lesser number on the GHX brand, and I guess you know from my perspective it's, well, why would I want to follow it? Because ultimately you know as a guy I'm never going to buy your clothes, and it's just it's just pictures, unless I just want to look at pictures of you looking hot in a gym kit. You know, I've got no reason to look at it. Whereas obviously I can follow your personal Instagram profile because there's so much engaging content on there. But if you were doing something that makes me want to come back week after week or day after day, like I say, but keeping it on brand.
Or even cooking. I like cooking.
Yeah, cooking in your gym kit.
Cooking in my gym kit, but like healthy cooking, like Joe Wicks sort of thing. That's something I need to consider, and I've just got a new camera for my birthday.
Oh, well, there you go. So, then. Well, that was my top tip for you. You can tell me to piss off, but
if it works out, that'd be good.
I thought it was good. Yeah, if it works out, you can send me a book.
To be honest, this year I've actually been filming. I think for something like I've spent something like 4 months abroad, like in front of a camera, like with no connection to the outside world, and then in between I've been travelling a lot. But I think from the start of January I'm going to have much more time to like put a lot of my effort into not only my social media content but also my business. So that's somewhere I'm going to start.
What other business ideas have you got? What else is Brand Georgia going to do?
So I've just started a collaboration with Callum Best Crystal Range, Aura by Callum.
I've been seeing it on your Insta.
Yeah, it's something I'm hugely passionate about. Me and Callum obviously just filmed Celebrity X on the beach together, and we spent a lot of time talking about crystals. You know, I've got one, I think I've got one on my ear here now, and so we've just done one range, but what we're hoping is we can meet up and do something. I want to do it a bit more young, a bit more around my sort of vibe. I want to do maybe earrings or necklaces, and I want to picture it in more of a trendy way, you know, in a way that appeals to young girls and in a way that appeals to the fashion industry.
And that's something you'll do with Callum, or that's something
with Callum's range, yeah. We're hoping to sort of collab and do another range together, but I really enjoyed the last one I've done, and I really do think crystals have a power and that people should get more involved in any sort of spirituality. So that's my other business move coming up. Trying to think of what else I've got going on. I've just got so much going on at the moment. I've got a new clothing range coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, have you heard of Little Mistress?
No.
Okay, so Little Mistress are huge. They've only worked with a few celebrities. I think they worked with, I think maybe it was Lucy Meck. Who's Chloe? She's absolutely beautiful from Towie. She's just had a baby.
You know what? You've said about 25 no's to me today, and I'm thinking, I never know. I watch no telly. I'm thinking I'm going to have to go home to Harley later and say who are all these people? I don't know anybody.
Well, basically, everyone they've ever collabed with has been very well respected, beautiful, very good in the fashion industry, and I'm very grateful that they would even consider doing something like this with me. So me and my friend Lorena, who was also an original on Celebrity X on the Beach, Beach and is a model are going to be doing our own range with them, clothing range. We're going to be getting a percentage of it, and we are completely and utterly involved in designing it. They've got a huge following themselves and actually have a shop in Westfield, so I'm expecting to make a really big amount of money off of that.
Awesome. And tell me, who do you look up to out there? You know, whether it's people we might know or people we not know. Have you got some mentors? You know, some people who inspires you?
You won't know Sahara Ray, but she is an influencer and a model. She's got her own bikini range. She's a bit different. She's a bit out there, but I just love her Instagram. I think she's so cool. She believes in everything I believe in. I like her content, and I like that she posts organically and she posts whatever she wants to post. She doesn't care if it's going to get likes or not. She's just her, so she's someone I look up to.
Anyone else?
Tammy Hembro, I like her. She's a huge influencer in the US and she's massive with fitness. I just love her body. I love her determination, her work ethic. I think she's younger than me and she's got 2 children and she's just like smashing life, so yeah.
Well, I've got a question as well actually on here, because this morning I think you posted me asking for any questions and you mentioned your American fan base. Some lady from Palm Beach in America sent a question out to you. I've got 2 questions for you. So Andrea Love says, what's your opinion on people underestimating you, and do you think that gives you an advantage?
I absolutely love it. I've had so many people underestimate me recently, like especially being on the challenge, you get quite a few people like, oh, she's not strong, she's not good enough, it's all smoke and mirrors, or she's not going to win her fight, and it really does give me the power to wake up and think I'm going to prove them all wrong. I love it. Keep underestimating me, because you're wrong.
and Keycast, if you'll do another fight, but we already discussed that. As long as you get at least double what you got paid for.
I need a lot of money. It takes over your whole life, and I honestly I really do want to win. And you know, people can really hurt themselves. I think someone lost their tooth in the last event, and I don't want to scar my face. It's my money maker, but I would consider it. I mean, it was such a buzz.
How much did you actually get hurt?
Not bad. I mean, under my makeup, I've got a little black eye here, and can you see I split my lip?
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't know if you'd had.
No, I mean, yeah, I do get the odd fillers. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna have to get a top up, but I have split my lip. But apart from that, I'm not really hurt at all. But that's just out of luck, you know. It only takes one lucky shot to break someone's nose, and then you're out the modelling game for at least a month, I think.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. As always, if you don't subscribe, click subscribe and check me out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Everything is the Matt Haycox, TheMattHaycox. And if you didn't know Georgia before, you are Georgia Louise Harrison.
Yep, that's it. I had a bit of a touch getting that one though, didn't I?
Georgia Louise Harrison on everything.
Yep, on pretty much everything. I think I'm Georgia Harrison X
with an X on Twitter.
Yeah.
I found you last night. Right, cool. It's been great to have you here, and thanks for eventually turning up.
Let it go.
You are now officially forgiven.
All right. Okay. Brilliant.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been amazing. Cheers.
Take care. You're too far away.
And thanks for my mug.
Yes, you're gonna.
I will.
I'm gonna let you take that back to
Essex. I will treasure this for life. For life.